Welcome to the Women's National League wrap for the final series of the year, and what a mad turn of events it was. I think that's a fair way to describe it. We'll start by just congratulating Shelbourne, obviously, on winning the league and doing so in such a dramatic fashion, which I suppose has been characteristic to their season. They've had a lot of last minute winners, and this was just the one to top it off. Shauna, I'll come to you first for obvious reasons. What did you make of the final day action, and do you think Shells were deserving winners in the end?
Yeah, I don't think that's a fair question to ask me, Alice. But I know. Look, I think football's a fickle game, and it's whoever can produce the goods. You know, in fairness to Shells, they stuck at it when they were down and out. You know, I think Peamount had 2 occasions to seal the deal last week and this week, and football's ruthless, and the winner is the team that kind of, you know, was able to produce the goods. So yeah, I think they were definitely deserving winners, considering, you know, like it would have been easy for them to maybe go, you know, Peamount are definitely going to win, because I think everybody and their dog had thought that before the game, and to maybe focus on the final, to say, like, you know, let's just focus on the final, that'll be our season. But in fairness to Noel and his management, he prepared for the game to win, in hope that other decisions would go their way, and they did. So yeah, well done to them.
And Alana, I think we were probably 2 of the people who thought that it was dead and buried, it was over, Peamount were going to win the league. How much of a shock was it for you watching on Saturday?
Yeah, wow. As Shauna says, like, I mean, I think a lot of people were very surprised by it. I think even, as you say, like, even in the interviews afterwards, you know, that are done with the WNL show, let's say, like with Noel King and Pearl Slattery, like, I think they were kind of focused on playing their own game, but they were kind of, you know, same as everyone else. They didn't think Peamount would kind of collapse like they did against Galway to pip them to top spot. But yeah, as we were saying last week, I think since that 5-0 against Peamount against Shells, I think we thought it was all but confirmed who was going to lift the trophy this year. But I suppose I say Shells and Galway said otherwise. I just don't think anyone saw that Galway's demolition of Peamount coming. As we say, it was really uncharacteristic of them, but on the flip side, like, it was a massive Galway performance, and I think it was the best of their year without a doubt. So yeah, fitting end to a fantastic season, and I enjoyed it anyways.
And Shauna, what does it mean for kind of the older players like Pearl, Noel, Rachel Graham? What's it mean for them to win the league in this way?
I think the politically correct term is experience. I spoke to the girls, Rachel and Pearl, and you know, they were saying that, you know, if they hadn't known in 2016 that'd be so long for them to win another league, they're not sure they would have lasted. But like, they've worked so hard on and off the pitch. I think they're 2 players, you know, they're my friends, so I'm obviously going to have a bias, but I really do believe they're 2 players that don't get half the recognition that other players in the league get, and they do so much work on and off the pitch in terms of with younger players for the club. They've been through a lot of hard times. Like, a lot of players have left the club and they kind of stuck with it. So I know for them it was kind of like, you know, a big release of emotion, and, you know, they really kind of felt like they've put past seasons right. They've kind of been there just about before and not kind of, you know, made it over that final hurdle. So I'm absolutely delighted for them. Both of them have had difficult times the past few seasons and have come through. But, you know, spoke to them yesterday, and their focus now moves on to next weekend. They're hungry for more. That's what success does to you. So yeah, like, it means a lot to them. And you know, I was asking yesterday, is this going to be it? Is this going to be it for you? And, you know, I think I was nearly shot off the phone for asking. You know, they're ready to go again, and it's great to see, because I still think they have a lot to give to the league and to Shelbourne.
And you mentioned there kind of the work they'd done with younger players, or maybe we'll say less experienced players. How impressed have you been by the young players who have come into the team this year, like Jessie Stapleton and, the ones who've been there a bit longer but have still made a huge impact this season?
Yeah, Jess has been really impressive. I've followed along with Jess, I suppose, her playing career from when she was a lot younger, and she really had the pick of the crop. She could have chose any team to play for. But there's a lot of weight on her shoulders because people do have that expectation that she'll perform and she'll play at a certain level. But I think she's really benefited from playing alongside Pearl. Like, Pearl is such a calming figure, and she kind of has a lot of experience. And one thing I think Jess needed to really improve on was that technical side of her game, being able to carry the ball out of the back. And as you can see, like, she's stepped into the team, she stepped into defensive midfielder, she's scoring goals, not just doing the defensive stuff that people would have expected. I think for me, I haven't seen a young player have such an effect on a team, a National League team. Maybe the last one was Katie McCabe or potentially Denise O'Sullivan. So it's fantastic. The other one then, I think, not really young, but still young, is Jess Ew. Had a few injuries this year. I've had many chats with Jess. I think she's a phenomenal player. But again, the girls have just told her, like, to keep going. She's had, I suppose, other players her age move on to England. So that can be difficult, when you have those aspirations and it's not quite happening for you. But the girls have been behind her, and they are constantly encouraging her, and I can see the confidence kind of starting to come back into Jess again. So and that comes from the likes of Pearl and Rachel, just allowing her to do what she does best.
And I suppose there will be a lot of talk about Shelbourne from the weekend, but Alana, I think a word has to be said to Galway as well, because without them, Shelbourne would not be winning the league. How impressed were you by their performance on Saturday?
Yeah, they were remarkable, really. It's funny the position they found themselves in, like acting as the deciders, but they played up to it well, especially in front of the TG Cahir cameras. And I'd say Stephen Lally couldn't have been anything but thrilled. Like, the guile they showed to come back after a 2-0 deficit and, like, not only score, but they were stunning goals too. Like, that Abby Canavan ship comes to mind, as does, like, Julianne Russell's, like, curling goal, and then Shauna Brennan's, I don't know, was it a cross or a goal attempt, but it went in anyways. And then Star as well they were just all top class, and I'm not quite recovered from how exciting they made the entire thing. But as well, as we were mentioning earlier, the future is definitely bright for them too. They're under 19s winning the League Cup just yesterday, so I'm sure they'll continue to breed them in and build what they've got going on out west.
And what do you think went wrong for Peamount? Was it just too much pressure for them?
Yeah, I think in the end it was the pressure, because I think everyone was expecting them to come out swinging when so 2-0 up, O'Gorman, Roddy, everyone was thinking, oh, that's it, wrapped up then already. I'd say I'd love to have seen the odds on them to lose it then, because I don't think anyone would have anticipated it. But as we say, Galway getting the 2 equalisers, and then you kind of just thought they'd push on after half time, but it just, I don't know, I think it was the nerves that set in, and Galway, once they got that kind of bit of determination about them, they were just pushing on, and Peace just couldn't capitalise and come back on it. But you could see in James's interview afterwards the disappointment in that, but also kind of how proud he was of his team, because, like, they've been consistent all season, but he took the time to congratulate Shells too, albeit yet to get the 5-0 in there, but he was making the point that they've won every match since that. So that's just a testament to how good Shells have been since that result. And killer blow for Peamount, but they've been outstanding champions, and sure, there's no doubt they'll be back with bigger next season.
And if we reflect on the entire Women's National League season, Sean, I'll come to you first. Do you think it's been one of the best seasons we've had to date?
I think it's been the best season. There's been so many great matches. The inclusion of TG4, we're starting to see clubs really, I suppose invest in their women's teams. We're seeing better facilities, quality players now. In the past, teams maybe had a good 8 or 9 players, but we're now seeing those younger players. The 19s league is strong. You know, I know you go into weeks and you kind of have an idea who potentially could win, but you know, like the weekend, I think, you know, every weekend has thrown up some game that's been really, really good or goal. And I have people texting me, you know, that I just know from work or outside football that are saying like it's brilliant to see the matches on TV. And even the likes of Shelbourne, like they have an awful lot of men's fans now going to their women's teams games, and I think that's been replicated at other places like Galway and whatnot. So yeah, I do think this season has definitely been the best so far.
And Alana, would you echo that?
Yeah, definitely. I think like Shauna was saying, it's been so competitive, and there's been kind of a lot of narration around it too, which I suppose kind of helps bring out those standout moments that come to mind when you think of this season that many won't ever forget, like from TG Cahir coming on board to the last minute goals. Like there's some real kind of personalities coming through, as well as the exceptional talent, and even just the drama of the last day. I think yeah, it was an unforgettable season, and I'm sure the FAI Cup will just top it off nicely now.
And on that, do you have a prediction for the Evoke.ie FAI Cup? Who do you think's going to win?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one to call now. I was steadfast in the semi-final ones, but geez, I don't know. I'd say Wexford will undeniably be looking to get their own back, because you know everything went right for Shells at the weekend, and I'm sure had there been another 10 minutes in that game, you know, after Kylie's brace, you'd wonder how would the nerves have set in even more, and would it have been another story. But yeah, I think if you look back in the season, there's been a draw and a win for both sides, so I don't think you can really call it on past results. And then if you look at form, like sure, Budden picked up the Golden Glove, but Kylie Murphy and Ella Malloy have 29 goals between them. So I don't know how you call it. If I had to, I don't know, I'd say I can see it going the distance, to be honest. Like I think maybe even extra time, but I think just for balance, maybe I'll call Wexford. I'll tip Wexford for it. And I think yeah, they'll be hungry for a bit of silver this year.
And Shauna, what are you thinking?
Yeah, for me, I think it's a tough one. One of my best friends, Sinead Taylor, is with youth, you know, and I'd love to see her, you know, doing well. But obviously, I'm Shells in the heart. I think if Shells hadn't won this weekend, I probably would have, you know, really pushed for Shells. But you know, as Alana said there, I think Wexford would be kind of gunning to get you know, to finish their season with some silver, where they started off and had, I suppose, a difficult start, and then kind of gathered up that consistency. And like, you know, there's only one name really, Kylie Murphy. You know, she plays, she can change a game in an instant, and she's performing week in, week out. So I think I'll go with my head and say Wexford and not my heart.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a difficult one to call, and I think one that's going to be a really exciting game again. The tickets are still available for that, so if anyone wants to go out to Tala Stadium to watch that, please do. Guys, thank you so much as always for coming on and for the season in general. It's been great to get your views week in, week out. Sean, it's great to have you back this week, especially considering the result. And yeah, I'm sure next season will be another fantastic season, and we still have the FAI Cup final to look forward to. So that's a wrap pretty much on the Women's National League season. And thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.